Friday night, I want a Chippy Tea. Chippy Tea, Chippy Tea, I want a Chippy Tea. Oh, you can give me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights, I want a Chippy Tea.
Welcome to episode, I think I've got this now without being prompted, 25 of Chippy Tea podcast. What is the Chippy Tea podcast? It is a nice, relaxed chat between two printers from up north. Me, Tony P from Palm Print, and
Daddy Donald from Flippy Sweet Print Co.
There we go, complete with a wink. We will just basically catch up on what has been happening this week. We like to sit and have a little bit of a video chat, bit of a whinge about what we've been doing, trying to put the world to rights, and basically cover any issues, problems, things that have jumped out at us through this week. Now, we're only human. Sometimes nothing jumps out this week, but we're gonna sort of like throw this week wide open because I love to see the fear on Danny's eyes when I just start to wind it up and he knows it's coming to him. And we're not even going to say what's on the press behind you because I can have a look at what's on the press behind you a little bit. You've left some up there, haven't you?
Yeah.
But what's been your highlight this week so far? Because we're a little bit late this week, so you've had nearly a full week. What's been jumping out at you this week to go, do you know what, Tony? Can't wait to tell you about this.
Pretty vintage ink. Well, not vintage inks, but doing the old shit tons of reducer and really faded colours. I've done 10 different designs and all of them had a vintage feel to them, which is good in a way because it's one less screen because you don't need a white underbase. And it's so easy to register. You just throw the buggers up. It's a piece of piss to register. Even
so
what did
you end up doing with your ink?
So a lot of it was
We had this discussion, didn't we? We were going to do curable reducer and colour, or curable reducer and base. What did you go with?
It was interesting how every ink reacted differently. So let me try and think. There was... So the easiest one was, so we had some navy shirts and we were printing a real faded red. That was as simple as going 50% reducer, clear, base if you want to call it, and 50% colour. Dead straightforward. Well, actually, I tell a lie. It was 40% base white, 40% base clear, 40% red, 10% 20% white. Now I'm doing maths in my head now. Whatever it was.
So you said 20% whiting?
Yeah, it just needed that little bit. It needed a bit of body just to get the right colour out of it. It's just how it worked out, to be honest.
Were you looking for a contrast? So did you sort of like match the colour? Look at the shirt and go, that looks like about 180. So I'll mix a 180 and make it weak. Or did you pick a colour that would contrast with the shirt?
No, well, it was red on navy, so it wasn't like a navy shirt with a slightly different tone of navy. It was red, and that's just how it ended up needing to be.
Is this one where you had to do photos of it?
Yeah,
and
which is why it's took me so long. Slightly annoying. To be fair, he's been pretty quick. The very first one I did, he didn't respond for about 4 hours, but it turned out he didn't get the email, so I let him off for that one. And then ever since, he's been fairly sharp at responding, so not an ideal situation. I don't really want to do that. I don't want that to become an habit, otherwise I'd be shutting down pretty quick. But he's been fairly sharp at responding.
Did you make good money?
Not bad.
Because, we can't shy away.
Do you know what?
That's sometimes what we're there for, How much time did you put into it?
Not to cover the extra effort. I've made no more money than what I would have made doing anybody else's job. Right. But I've put an hell of a lot more effort into it. So, I guess, well, just because I've charged them exactly the same, it's just worked out the same. I guess maybe that's where you could adjust your pricing and account for the extra effort. If you know you're going to have to colour match and sign off, and if you know that when they see those photos, they're going to say, oh, well, it needs to be a tad bit lighter or a tad bit more red or whatever, and you're going to be doing some back and forth, really, you should be paid for that time. But then what do you do? Do you preempt it?
One of my sayings that's not on a bingo card is we don't sell T-shirts, we sell time.
Yeah.
Because the more time it takes you, the more you have to charge for it, the more expensive it has to be. Because that's the only commodity you have is time. And if you do 100 T-shirts in an hour, they've got to be a different price to 100 T-shirts to take you a day.
Yeah, we do, yeah. I mean, that's probably one of my flaws, actually, that maybe not so much right now, but when you have a flat price table that's just based on the number of colours and the quantity brackets, that's a little bit you're a bit boxed in, really. So you can't account for time in that type of system.
When you're working, I think I'm sort of disagree a little bit. When you're working your prices out, you have to apply a time value. If you don't apply a time value, then we go, what the hell are you selling? By applying the time value, I mean what's possible and how much you want to get back for that time that you spend. So working out, okay, I can do 3 jobs an hour of 25 pieces, single colour. So therefore, what money do I want to get back for that hour's work? Well, first of all, I've got to pay all my bills. So you must know how much it costs you to turn the lights on for an hour. So that money's got to be in there. And then there's the, are you on minimum wage? Are you on YTS scheme?
YTS, what's that one? That might be an old one, so I don't know what that one is.
YTS is an old one. YTS was young apprentice scheme.
Oh, right, an apprenticeship type money. So like a quid an hour.
So when you were in 80s, back in 80s when I were a lad. There's a shot.
Quick shot.
When I were a lad, YTS was almost free labour. You'd get, you'd basically get a YTS lad on. Job creation scheme.
I remember when I was working for a sign and vinyl shop, he would get lads in on like a little apprenticeships, and he'd get given a couple of grand just for taking him on, and then he would pay them like pennies, and he'd just recycle them, because they'd only be there for so many months or whatever, and he got away with so much cheap labour.
Yeah, it's one of them, and we've covered it before. I'm not a big fan of it. If it smells like exploitation.
I know, you've got to pay people what they're worth. But I've always had this theory in my head, which is why I became self-employed, that if you take a job and they pay you a set wage, that job is probably worth way more. Because why would an employer pay you what you're worth? Otherwise, they're not going to make any money out of you. They've got to pay you less to make money. So you'll never get paid what you're truly worth working for someone else. IMO.
Oh, I don't know. I'm quite unique because I've spent a lot of time working for someone else, and I believed that was the only way forward at one point. Why the hell would you gamble your house, take all the risk not being paid, against having a regular amount of money drop into your bank account every Friday, whether you were good shit or not? Yeah. So, and I think I've been fortunate, and I've always been paid quite well. Based on, it can't be luck. Based on my commitment to that company. When I worked for a company, for about 14 years, and I gave it absolutely everything. I missed kids' birthday parties and everything for it. So, and it's a tough one. Now, from this side, now I'm working for myself. I sometimes think to myself, why the hell would anybody go work for anybody else? So I can see both sides.
I think responsibility comes into it as well. If you're responsible for somebody, or if you've got bills to pay already, it's hard to take that risk, because, like you say, you could lose it all, or if you just have a shit month and you can't make rent, or you can't pay your mortgage or whatever. I was always fortunate enough when I started. I was fortunate enough that I didn't really have to pay for anything. I lived at home, and it was easy enough to take that risk. And at the end of the day, I'll never not have a roof over my head. So I can be a little bit brave in attempting to make something out of this business. because I think I probably
after 10 years, you're so used to it now. That's your norm now. It's normal for you to now work for yourself and be in control of your own destiny, if you like. And I love that about working for myself. I really do love it. But I think only because I'm in quite a unique position in that I've done my 30 years, paid for my mortgage, and I'm done now. So I can afford to. I've not worked again this week, as you can tell from staring me. Like a stick at dump.
You've been poorly though, haven't you?
I have. I'm better now.
You don't mind.
I had to go to doctors, which is sort of like, if you know me, I don't like going to doctors at all. I'm not one for that. It's where all sick people are. I'm not down for that at all.
You're just asking for another bug, aren't you?
It's odd. Our health service is really strange. It really is. I go all over, obviously I'm in America a lot, and you see people go to doctors when they're ill.
Yeah.
Here, I know some people who are bored and go to doctors. Do you know what I mean? And I had some elderly relatives who would ring up, Monday morning. This was the game, Monday morning. Right,
to get in sharpish, yeah.
Get up early. What for? You have to go see a doctor. What's wrong with you? Not sure yet.
You never know.
Give me an hour, I'll find something. And I sort of sometimes think, you know what? Maybe we should start charging for it. Maybe if you go to...
Well, we do really, don't we, though? We pay for it. We just don't have it invoiced in his bank.
Paying directly. Well, how about, right, okay. So I couldn't get an appointment at all. It was horrible, and I use the doctors maybe 10 times in my entire life. And I'm more of I'll tell you what, it's 50 quid. 50 quid for a consultation. Now, are you really that poorly that you want to throw 50 quid at it? Or do you just want something?
Well, if you are, you'll pay it, will you?
Yeah. So I know that's a little bit out there, but I'm a little bit sort of, do you know what? Yeah, if you're really poorly, pay the 50 quid. If not, stop wasting the time of the people that are basically volunteering to look after you.
I don't know. I feel like that's a bit of a... I think that's a bit
slope, isn't it?
It's a dangerous conversation, this. Why we ended up talking about NHS.
We didn't. We just said doctors.
Doctors, yeah, we did, yeah, true.
So, moving on. Yes, I am better now.
Well, that's good.
We're getting there slowly. I've not been out visiting people, again, not 100%, but it's that time of year. We have 2 weeks to Christmas. I'm sure last time...
2 weeks?
A week now. 10 days or something.
We've got this weekend, and then it'd be a week on Sunday.
10 days today, yeah. So, I mean, I had it in my head that the Christmas is still 3 weeks away. And I keep looking at the diary, and I'm like, oh, shit, we're running out of time. I've had a relatively quiet time, and then over 4 days, my phone just never stopped ringing for people wanting me to go in and do stuff. So much so now that I'm actually overbooked until end of February.
Bloody hell. I wonder if a lot of people have the same sort of mindset as me, as Christmas is the time to get organised and to get everything planned ahead for you and get on top of all the little things that you've been watching all year, thinking, well, I wish I had time to do that. And going through your processes and stuff like that. Christmas is the perfect time because it's quiet I'd imagine it's quiet for a lot of people.
It's a perfect time to do it, but it's the worst time to pay for it.
It really is. It's a bugger, that.
Nobody wants to throw the money away at it. So,
I mean, you almost go, what are we on now? For me, I've not made money since end of November. My last order was sort of back end of November, so I've not made out really. I mean, I've had a couple of orders for January. But like I really, December's a write-off. And then January is usually pretty quiet. I mean, I don't start making weeks. Like, yeah, that's about right, I think. Because you end up getting that little bit of payday, January payday, people start spending again. But
that's a strange statement to make. What you mean is you've already been paid for the work you're about to do.
I've got an handful of orders ready to start this 2nd of January.
But you've been paid for.
I've been paid for, yeah.
So
But
that's
when I say I've not made money,
yeah.
like, not a lot.
No,
Normally I'd
not.
have a steady stream of orders always coming in, whereas I've just had one or two in about 2 months. So
Yeah.
So yeah,
This is no way to pay for your auto, you know.
it's not, is it? Well, do you know what? I've got what we're on now. So we're on Thursday. Not to spoil the illusion, but it's Thursday night, and Thursday. Well, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Any outstanding orders I'll be done with, printed, finished, boxed up. They'll all be picked up Monday morning, and then that's me done on that press. And then I need to spend a week or two just on my laptop, just sorting my shit out, really, and just thinking that, what am I going to do this year, and what do I need to get? What are my goals? How do I stop living on that seesaw of how can I describe it? All right, I'm making money, but I'm stressed. I'm stressed up to eyeballs trying to keep up with it. All right, I'm chilled out. Bloody, I'm skint now, and it's that constant balancing act, and I can never find that sweet spot. So my challenge this Christmas is to put things in place and work out how do I land in that sweet spot, and how do I actually start progressing the business. Because it's been a few years since. It'd be nice to start upgrading. It sounds daft, but I feel like it's just been level playing, and I've just been going along with it and cracking on, and not really got anywhere for a while. It's been a while since I upgraded my exposure unit and my press and my flash dryer and all the little bits around the shop. It's been very much nothing since. It'd be nice to get back on that. It feels like you're getting somewhere with your business when you get new equipment in to make your life easier and to make your final product better.
I think you've got to keep evolving. If things don't alter, they'll stop as they are, as somebody once said to me.
If anything, you'll go backwards. If you don't keep up, you'll go backwards.
Yeah. So, but for me, and I give this advice to a few people, especially people who are trying to look for the next step. And, we look among our friend groups, and we know certain people are doing this all the time. It's where do you want to be? What do you want to do next? What's your biggest problem at the minute? Because if your biggest problem at the minute is you've got so much work that you can't get it out, then you need to be looking at investing in equipment that's going to help you get more work out. If, on the other hand, as a lot of people have, you've got your lovely little press and your lovely little panther dryer, but you can see it there, thanks, David.
You can't.
You see your lovely little panther dryer, and you're sat waiting for the phone to ring, and you're thinking about putting leaflets around Brid. Then looking at new equipment is not for you. You should be looking at your website and your Instagram and shit like that. And it's taking a step back, and I hope you do this over the next 2 weeks, taking a step back and going, right, okay, what is my issue? My issue is I can't get enough shirts through the door. Then, okay, let's stick an auto in.
All outcomes just lead to an auto.
Can you afford it? No, get an auto. I had a few people saying to me, I've got an auto, do you want to get know anybody who wants an auto? Know anybody who wants an auto? And I keep thinking, there's no way I'm going to get one up your steps. So.
No, this is one of my issues as well. Is I'm in a position where this building's it's not mega expensive. My rent, just finding a building to put it in, it's going to double my outgoings like that. My rent will double. My electric bills will probably be a bit more, and all of a sudden I'll be paying loads for water and gas, etc., etc., etc. I've got I won't say it's cheap, but I've got a fairly not too bad price point here, because basically it's like this wall's one brick thick and it's half it's falling to bits, and it's a real old ragged old building, and nobody else would take it. There's only me who could walk into this building and think, oh, I can see this, I can see it working. So that's why it's not too bad.
That means you're a bit safe there, though, isn't it? It means
well,
safe.
Well, it's what do you do? I always think. Now, I think I've almost been frightened from several knockbacks over the years into making bold moves or taking educated risks.
Big risks, yeah.
Yeah, and now I think you want to have a balance, really. I don't think you want to be a massive risk taker, because one day it's going to bite you on the arse, isn't it? You want to be, but you do need to be a little bit bold sometimes, and you have to say, you know what, I'm just going to go for this. Getting a bigger place, at some point, I'm just going to have to bite bullet, go get a bigger place, and make it work.
I think you need before you do that, I think you need a bold plan. You need to understand what you want to be. We both know people who don't want to be printers anymore, want to be social influencers, who want to only sell their own merchandise, who want to service the armed forces, want to service the working men's clubs. Whatever it is, you have to find where you want to sit and where you want to be. What do you want to? Do you want to produce fantastic art? Do you want to be Mad Specials? Or do you want to be, do you want to be a mass producer of faceless tat? Where do you want to sit?
Yeah,
and I think before you make any decisions, you have to answer that question truthfully and honestly with yourself, and go, right, okay, where do I want to be? I like this bit that I'm doing. I like to play, and therefore, it might be that where you are now, that's it, and be happy with it. Because it's paying your bills, it's keeping you happy, and your lifestyle's not horrendous. So embrace it.
I go to bingo once a week, don't I? Do you know what? I think you need to do that. I think you need to do that almost every year, maybe even
every year. Because every Christmas I would do it.
What I started out with 10 years, what plan I had in my head, I had this big grand scheme and plan. It's completely different to what it is now. But you're that busy through the year. You always want to. Oh, I could just do with taking a bit of time just to work some stuff out. And then you through the year. So Christmas is that perfect time to just say, right, get laptop open, write, get a Word doc open and just write some stuff down, just work it out, get it all out of your head, and just have some sort of plan. Yeah,
a roadmap. I think roadmaps are a good explanation of it. It works really, really well.
What's it shagging now?
It's not. Not yet. I think a roadmap's a good idea. Just for you, to know, well, where do I want to be? What do I want to do? Because if you go back 5 years, where you are now is a massive success to where you were 5 years ago.
Do you know what? I'm also a bit of a bugger for, in a way, what I've done is pretty good. It's pretty okay. I'm okay. But I find it very hard to accept that. But I also, maybe I'm a little bit guilty of looking at others. And I look at shops that have been around for 2 or 3 years and chuffing autos are popping up. And I look at the customers they're working for. And I look at the art reprinting and I think, I give it my all. And I really do graft. And it just don't come to me, and then I think, I let myself beat myself up about it, which is completely the wrong thing to do.
You can't do that. There's a reason the grass is always greener on the side, and that's because it's usually fed with bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at a printer over day I probably shouldn't say this. I won't name them.
You will to me later.
I'll tell you later. And they're showing off all these stunning screen prints. I've only been doing it a couple of years, and I think, you're outsourcing them buggers, you. You're not printing them, you lying bastard. Not if it's not wrong with that. Not if it's not wrong with outsourcing, but you are printing them. Anyway, I'll tell you later.
I'm intrigued now. But then you've got it the other way, you've got the guys who are being outsourced too. We know someone who's doing outsourced work for other people. And the stuff's great and fantastic. I've said this before to you. It's finding that niche, that point where your passion lies.
Yeah.
I started a guy bought a press, and he was in merch. So it was in rock and pop merch. It's not rock and pop. I'm old fashioned, but it's music. Let's call it music merch.
Wham t-shirts.
Wham t-shirts. Yeah.
Relax.
Human
Frankie
league.
says no. Or whatever it is he says.
Peppy jeans. It was.
Oh, yeah.
But his passion is going and seeing these people and being with these people and living that circle and going to the gigs and being involved in absolutely everything and knowing the roadies and knowing everybody.
Yeah.
And therefore, he's now probably on his second press inside 3 years. And, he's doing exceptionally well and making a good, I get people ringing me up all the time. So I'm like, what should I be buying next? Because I've got this big pile of money that I made this year.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he has a clear vision of who he wants to produce work for.
Yeah, I think it's good to, if you've got I think it makes it a lot easier when you've got almost a niche market.
You've got one? Do you think you've got one?
No, I don't think I have at all. I think it's very broad. I think, if I think about who I work for, the big customers who, I see all year, every year, one of them's a military brand, and then it's just very broad. I can't really pin my tail on anything. And maybe that's something that I need to work on. Maybe I should be... I heard someone saying, put on social media what you want to sell. So only show the prints where, that you want to do more of. Because people will follow you and will see that. And that's how you attract the people that you want to do. Which ain't a terrible advice, but I'd probably only be doing that once a year if I did that. So... put one post up a year, so that's not good.
Social media is a minefield, though, isn't it? You know more than I do about social media. I get good traction by default. I just basically threw loads of darts at dartboard, and some of them hit.
It's niche. It's niche, and you're good at it. It's that's what it is. One, you're in a niche market because you can't get much more niche. Advising screen print shops. You can't get much more niche than that. So
it doesn't appeal to the wilder public, no.
No, you're not going to get dog groomers following you and stuff like that.
No.
Well, you might have done originally when all it was a picture of Jack shagging Tedders, but apart from that. But nowadays...
I'm still not forgiving you for disturbing him. Or me for posting it on social media.
It's famous now. He's the Chippy Tea mascot.
He is now, yeah.
Steven Seagal's flown off. He's got to live with crackheads.
It's too cold for Steven Seagal.
I know, poor bugger.
So yeah, it's a strange one. Although I'm getting work from social media, which there's no way around it. I can't say that these people would have heard of me any other way. I've had 2 or 3 this week alone that have gone, I've seen this, and can you do this, and how about this, and how about this, and I'll be, travelling all over again down social media. Super. I think it's awesome. It takes a lot of time, though.
Yeah, it does. It takes an awful lot of time, a lot of effort. You see, I think one of the big things for me is, I think one of the biggest thing that's holding me back and holding the shop back is the time I spend on the press or making screens or now answering emails and, running the business, the time I spend working for the business gets in the way of growing the business. I have 0 time left to look at marketing, look at social media, look at different, ways to get more revenue in. Because I don't think it's a great idea to be, all my income comes from my website and Instagram. It's basically the same, it's the same thing. People see you on Instagram, they go to your website. That's one channel. Really, you should have at least an handful, you know what I mean? Different revenue streams coming in. And there's plenty of ways to do that. But I've never really. So one of the big epiphanies I've had, I told you I've had an epiphany a little bit earlier.
You've used it 3 times so far. Go for it.
Well, it's a big word. It's the old, it's not really an epiphany, you sort of told me it. The old milk bottle, when it's full.
Do you know, some of the stuff I say actually sticks, doesn't it? I throw
it does,
and some of it sticks. The milk
bottle.
Bottle.
After that episode, I tell you, it's a strange thing. I listened to the episode. When I started the episode, we were recording, I was chirpy as fuck, and then I ended it. And I went, bloody hell, I was down. I was real down about it. And it was not about the episode, but I think I just went into... I think I just went in my head a little bit, thinking, God, there's so much to do and so much more I need to think about that I've not realised, etc. And I think I picked up a few things and I dwelled on it a little bit. But actually, what I've actually done is I've learned some stuff, and I'm going to use it this year, this coming year, to what I think will be a turning point. I think I will actually start to grow the business again. I think I can press play on my business again, and you might see a bit of growth over this next year, because a few things sort of struck me. One of them is the milk bottle theory. Once that bugger's full, just outsource it.
It's fun,
now,
yeah.
Because you've got two options. Once that milk bottle's full, tell people you're full. You're full.
Either close your book,
or just outsource the buggers.
Or you find another way of getting that work done, because it's not always. You might make 50 quid off that job that you outsource instead of 200 quid.
Yeah.
But behind that 50 quid job is a guy waiting to give you £1,000.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you'd have said no to him, he'd have given the grand to someone else. But because you said yes to him, and you kept him happy and kept him busy, then it leads to that. And I'm a big sort of believer in opportunities. We must grab out all the opportunities. And I'm really guilty of never saying no. But, it's definitely one to look at.
Yeah, so that's something that's in my mind as a little bit of a.
You need another Jasmine.
Yeah, that might come into it. I think
without a doubt you need someone to do the admin while you pull your squeegee.
Yeah, well, yeah, I do. That'll come sort of.
Or you need someone to pull the squeegee for you while you do the admin, but you can't do both.
Nah, I think I'll do that. I'll do the pulling on squeegee. But I do definitely need to spend. What I need to do is I need to make sure there is time this year to spend on the business, growing the business. So even if that's just one day, maybe one day I say, right, I'm not printing. I'm opening my laptop on that day, and I'll do whatever it takes to, grow the business and look at other income sources and marketing techniques, etc., etc. Because I've always been held hostage by the amount of work that I can take on, because I physically can't keep up with it as it is. So I've never in the recent years, I've never been like, I've never gone too crazy on marketing or coming up with these ideas, because I couldn't handle it anyway.
There's a really old Punch cartoon, and I'll try and describe it. It won't work very well being described, but it's a really old Punch cartoon of the soldiers and the fighters on top of the hill, and fighting off the Zulu and the loading the little muskets and the putting the powder down and doing everything, and then bang, shooting one, and then loading it up again, and all the natives are coming for them, and they're trying to overrun them. And behind them is a guy tapping them on the shoulder with a fully automatic machine gun. And the caption is, "Not now, I'm busy." Yeah,
that's a really good metaphor.
It is that whole thing of, I'm so busy shooting these little natives that actually I didn't realise there's a guy behind me with a submachine gun that I could wipe them all out with, which is a very politically correct way to put it, but it's an old one.
It's an old-fashioned, that bugger. You couldn't get away with that one now, but...
No. But yeah, sometimes we are so busy, loading our little muskets that we don't realise that there's a better weapon of choice behind us.
I might take a year off, fuck it. I'll take a year off. I'll outsource all my printing and I'll just put it on Instagram and pretend I did it. Not naming no names, but
I need to know what that is.
I'll tell you in a bit. I mean, anyway, it's only suspicion. I shouldn't really accuse anybody of something about it. It's my suspicion.
It's when have we held back? Jesus. Can you remember early days where we used to do this now? Now we just name and shame.
Yeah, I've not got no one to slag off, to be honest, at the minute. I've been, all my supplies have been fairly okay. So, you're all safe. For now.
Supplier-wise, I think we're doing all right, supplier-wise. Everybody's quiet, I think, at the minute. Just a little bit, sort of. Nobody's really sure what's going to happen. I still, everywhere I go, especially sort of when I'm doing some R&D over in Austria or I'm doing some stuff over here, trying to talk to people about the way the future's going. Digital keeps coming up. It keeps raising its head, and I'm still sort of, it's not there.
No,
I've
no.
I've seen stuff that that's in the pipeline that's not going to be out for a couple of years' time yet, and we've still got this belief that analog screen print is going to disappear and be overtaken by this digital, either hybrid or fully digital or high speed digital or whatever. And
I don't think
wish,
for a while, at least.
I wish it would. I wish it would. DTF is awesome at doing this. I've got companies that are only recommending anything over 50 to go screen print and everything under 50 to go DTF.
I'd say that's. I mean, that sounds like a lot to me, but like, I think I would definitely say that it has a place in the market for the smaller runs, but not in a retail environment. But then again, what I've seen DTF, maybe I've not seen good enough quality yet. Maybe there's better quality out there. But what I've seen of it, I wasn't right impressed, to be honest.
Do you do retail? Who does retail? Everybody does area house builders down the road who wants 24 polo shirts.
Yeah, but you know what? If I go to Asda and I pick a t-shirt off the shelf, or if somebody goes to Asda picks a t-shirt off the shelf and it's wonky and they're chuffing registrations off, I don't give a shit. But when I do a t-shirt, rulers out everything, the most minute details. If it's half a Pantone shade different, those buggers will be onto you.
How did you go?
Redid them all.
You did them all.
I can't. You know what? I nearly showed you them, but that'd probably be a bit naughty. But if I hold it up to camera, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't see the difference.
No, you sent me a picture. I couldn't see a difference. I thought it were onto Pantone. Really did.
Very, very difficult. Very. Did
you change it?
There was the most minute difference. I'll just be honest and say it was different. It wasn't 100%. It was 99 though. I mean, if you hold a t-shirt up or if you're wearing a t-shirt, nobody's walking up to that t-shirt with their eyes like that to see what the freaking difference in colour is. And the best thing about that whole situation was, so I were printing it for a customer who then sent it on to their customer. Their customer had not even seen them. So they might have got them and the customer might not have said a word, but they've decided it wasn't good enough before it even got there, which you have to deal with and you have to do. But I think a little bit of reason could have been used there, but it won't. But it's okay. I've used it as a lesson. I've got my updated Pantone books. I'm going to get myself some right fancy new scales, and I'll be properly colour matching everything going forward. It won't be good enough just to print off a formula, mix it. Yeah, that looks right. I'll properly check now.
But don't you do that anyway? Because Plastisol, you can do that, and I use this figure a lot. Plastisol between 98 and 100% accuracy. So if you take an average, it's about 99. I work with lots of companies who use a Plastisol mixing system, and no longer check it. And if it is wrong, it's human error. It's some nodding in screen rooms transpose two numbers or can't read. But then we go to water-based.
Do you know what, though? Water-based is way less accurate. But do you know what? Plastisol,
60%.
Fucking 60%. Yeah, it is harder to Pantone match water-based, way harder. I don't know if this is an international coatings thing, but reds are a bugger to mix. You mix a red, Pantone mix.
Coatings, it's normally blues.
I have trouble with reds.
Because they're a bit transparent.
Yeah, I would say that's true, actually. Yeah, that's true. Deep blues and reds, Pantone matching really... Like, you'll mix a fire hydrant red, whatever Pantone that is, I can't remember. There
used to be 2, now there's about 17 because of those fucking knobheads at Pantone who, first of all, want to invent new Pantone colours every 3 months, like, wet dog brown and all that stuff. And now they're withdrawing it from the software.
I was about to bring that up because I've seen a few people kicking off now so you can't pull a colour out. If I'm right, you can't go to Photoshop and pull your colours out now. Why would you do that? To sell you something,
to get people to... Yeah, you can do it if you pay them a monthly fee.
That's outrageous.
It is, but I remember Adobe going to a monthly fee and I thought that were outrageous. I still do. I still think it's outrageous. I use Adobe very little, but I have to have it to be able to help people when I'm on their premises. And it cost me 50 quid a month to be able to do that.
Do you want a
And
tip? Here we go. Here's a tip for you. Threatened to cancel if I give it for 30 quid a month.
They'd probably tell me to piss off.
Nah, but what? They'll give it 30 quid. I was leaving. I will getting rid of it. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to replace it with. But,
Canva. Coral Draw.
no. I can't say this, it's a bit discriminating, but anyway, let's just say I wouldn't have been without Photoshop. But
Oh, you got a crack.
yeah, and they wouldn't. But anyway, it turns out you are actually in a contract. You're in like a 12-month contract or whatever. So I had so many months left, but because I wanted to leave, they said, "Oh well, we'll give it for like 30 quid a month instead of 50." So just have a little whinge. You'll get it a bit cheaper. Get 20 quid knocked off.
You used to do it with Sky, didn't we?
Send me a commission for that tip. I don't want you all to do that.
We used to do that with Sky.
I'll send me a beer. Yeah, well, that's a standard procedure, isn't it? Because Sky's getting expensive, isn't it? Right, well, when's your threat to cancel? And then they'll say, right, we'll just put you on hold. And I'll come back 10 minutes later and say, right, go on, and you can have it all for tenner. Oh, dear. You got to whinge, haven't you?
Yeah, you got to do.
So, I haven't really asked you what's your highlight been. I don't think we've really discussed your week. You've been a bit poorly, but you're on the mend now.
You normally sort of like rattle on for a little bit, and then 5 minutes before end, you go, "Oh, Tony, by the way, how's your week been?" But,
because you get me going and I forget, that's why.
I've got used to it now, it's fine. My week has consisted of working from home, obviously, because I'm poorly sick and dying with worst case that doctor's ever seen, a man flu. It would have knocked a lesser man off his feet, but, I battled through.
What a trooper.
It's one of those not for girls, you know what I mean? It's just proper.
You'd have been fucked there, you'd have been knackered.
So, I have been sat at home doing as much as possible, like you just said, catching up with all the stuff that you need to do. They're still invoicing, they're still planning to do this. My website needs an absolute upheaval.
You know what your website needs? A shop with print palans on, so I can do, or test palans, whatever you want to call them, so I can order some of the buggers.
The amount of people I recommend stuff to, and I've never been into selling stuff at all. I just tell people where to go. The amount of stuff I throw down at Pyramid and places like that, and when people say, what squeegee should I use, what this should I buy, what this should I buy, and I just give away this information for free. And I don't know whether I agree with charging for it or not, or using a discount code. I told you a good friend of ours said to me, just throw this discount code out there, Tony, and get everybody to use it.
Yeah.
I sort of, it's a bit uncomfortable with me. I like the freedom of... I like the
free spirit, aren't you?
I like the freedom of being able to tell someone if something's crap.
I know,
If I'm getting paid, say, a commission, then I'm no longer independent, am I? Because I'm telling you to use Dave at Screen Print World because he gives me, a commission, or I'm telling you to use Pyramid because he give me a permission. No, I'm telling you to use this because this is where I would buy it from and it's good. And I'm telling you to use this because this is the best value. And I think if you sell out, it sounds awful, but if you sell out, then where do you end up? And am I losing money? Probably. I'm probably, if I was intelligent enough to work out how to make a, is it Amazon shop where you never actually buy anything and keep it here and post it out, but they do it.
Yeah, I used to do that. I used to print T-shirts in batches, and then I'd send a box. I'd send a big box full of T-shirts with barcodes on, and then they do it for you. You made a little bit less because they obviously charge you for the service, but it's so easy. I'd just print like 100 T-shirts, send them to Amazon, and then Christmas would go crackers. All of them were dodgy, but this was back in the day. It was a lot of years ago.
Can you do that with products that you don't actually produce? So let's say I'm going through Amazon, right, and I find this tool. In fact, I just bought a tool not long ago for cutting squeegees. Found it. It's superb. This thing's about $150 normally, and I found it for like $25. So could I put a link on my website to say, right, okay, if you want this, go here? without me having to buy a box full of them, send them to Amazon and do all that?
There's some. I feel like there's some sort of referral service where you can get a commission. I can't remember now how you would do it, but if you looked that up, you could definitely do that. Because people make a living off of literally, they'll go around looking for products, hot selling products, and they'll source them cheap, and then they'll buy them in bulk, and then they'll send. In fact, I don't even think that. I don't know if they actually do. They'll
that's
look
a
for
whole
them on
new
Amazon.
world. That's going and finding on Alibaba where they're from,
That's the one. Yeah.
spending $1,000 on them, getting them shipped to somewhere, and then selling them. That's completely different. I'm on about whoever's already doing it. Send it. I tell you where I've seen it. Dog. So
Your dog's been doing it.
I was looking at some for dog, and
right.
This woman is on Instagram, and she's sort of like, "Oh well, I use this thing for my dog, and it sorts this out." So all right, okay, you can buy it here, and you click on her Instagram.
Oh, you get commission.
You buy it from Amazon. You don't buy it from her, but it's like her referral shop or web shop or something.
Yeah, my bird does that. She gets referrals and stuff like that. Usually you have to ask them, or they'll get in touch with you and say, "Do you want to?" But I think there are websites or apps where you can set an account up, and then you just put your links in. Well, I want to refer this product. I can't. I could ask actually because I could find it out. But there's a way to do it. It's not as complicated as you think. There are websites that allow you to do that, and a lot of these social influencers, if you like, that sell clothing and all that type of shit. That's what they do. They'll set up referral links, and then they just take like a percent. They'll get a percentage off it or something like that. You'll have to spend next to a week making a plan. That's what you'll have to do.
And this is sort of like what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what you just said. I'm going to take this 2 weeks to. I sat and looked at my diary. What seemed like a day ago, and it seemed like 10 days ago. I'm sure this flu that I got was also a time machine.
A time travel thing.
Well, yeah. and I've missed the whole sort of like 2 weeks of December. But I'm going to sit down because I didn't have any work until sort of like mid-January. And now I'm almost double booked until the end of February. So this is just, a random... The guy who wanted me to go to France, that's on. Another guy who's got in touch with me says, can you come in down and do us an assessment and then do 3 days after that and 2 days after that. And so all of a sudden I got to the point where, oh, shit, I've got to work for a living again. Don't like that.
Crap, innit?
And all the time in the background, and this is, I might have thrown you some shit with the milk bottle, but the whole academy thing is proper playing in my head.
Really thinking about it?
It's really, I can't get away from it. I keep coming back to it and coming back to it and coming back to it. You can't go traveling the world forever and doing this forever, but having a solid base of somewhere to train people, I think is a really good idea that keeps cropping up and cropping up and cropping up.
And you know what? You might not be surprised. You might not be surprised, but the amount of people that would travel internationally to come to it, I think you might be surprised. Because if you think about our favourite water-based ink that begins with an M and ends in Agna, people come from all over the world just to spend a few days getting to grips with ink. And they send all their employees as well. It's not like just one person. I went and there were like a handful of companies or whatever. So,
well, we've got a shared guy on Instagram here who's contacted me about going and helping him, and he's in Australia.
Yeah.
And he is sort of like, well, I wonder if Magna would be interested. And I'm like, well, yeah, they would, but they've got their own guys.
Yeah,
Melvin, who was at Magna, he's awesome. He taught me how to print. So, why on earth would an ink company want to send somebody like me? Because they've got their own, they have their own set of people that do this. So, other than going and working for an ink company, which is a bit of a sellout, because then you're telling people to use these products because you've been told to tell people to use this product.
Yeah, it's going back to that. It's
2 weeks
Nobody-
ago, 2 weeks ago, I was in America using that product. Remember the PVC-free one? And now I'm not going to say it's crap, but it's not the best ink I've ever used. And given the choice, I'd pick another brand and another method altogether. Whereas
But if they were
if I
paying you,
worked for that company, I'd
you'd have to.
stand there and say, "This is the best thing in the world," knowing deep down that actually it's not. It's not the worst thing, but the better solution would be to go to Magna. A better solution would to go to Magna and get their product, this brand, and this brand. Got Aquaflex on here, do that, and that will solve your problem much better. But if you're working for a big ink company, a big plasticizing ink company, you can't do that.
No.
You have to stand there and say, "No, this is the best product."
No company should be above criticism or below praise. And when you start paying people, you can't use that analogy, can you? And you should be able to. You should be able to. Like, I get supplies from every supplier because some of the stuff screen print world sells shit. Some of the stuff Pyramid sells I'm not a fan of, but then I like some stuff that they do, and I use a bit of everybody because I can get the best, what I think's the best product, and I have to go to everybody. So, I'll praise Screen Print World, and I'll praise Pyramid, and I'll praise Magna, and I'll praise them all, but I also criticise some of the stuff I don't like, because I think that's how you should do, really, because if everybody blows smoke up your ass...
You're not getting paid to do anything, are you? So
I'm still waiting,
some people do want to hear that real world, Tell me if it's crap. I do it all the time. People say to me, "What do you think about this?" I'm like, "Well, it's not very good." "I thought that was your mate." "Well, it is my mate, but it's not very good for you. This is not the best solution for you."
This is what I mean. Whether it's your mate or not, you should criticise them if they do something shit. Yeah, dear. I don't know. So
my week basically has consisted of trying to clear next week's diary, getting ready to go to the Long Beach show, which is in end of January, and trying really to plan the next 8 weeks worth of work, if I can.
Will you go to, I can't remember what we call it, is it Printwear and Promotion? Sounds like February, is it? Or is it January or February, I think?
So I like Printwear and Promotion. And
remember, below criticism. Nobody's below criticism. Above criticism, sorry.
I first went to Printwear and Promotion probably 1987, 88. So at that point then, anything you wanted to know about the industry, that's where you went. It wasn't just a networking event, although that was good, but you went to see the new machines. So MHM had new machines, M&R had new machines, Taz had new machines, Anatole were there. We had Sericol with new inks. We had Wilflex with new inks.
Not there anymore, have we? It's all chuffing garments, isn't it?
It's a fashion show. And I know John at MHM for at least the last 8 years has been the only guy with a press there. And sometimes he only takes it because he's the only guy with a press there. And I think last year he did it and didn't take a press. And I'm like, I don't think I'd want to go and not see anything new in the industry, because I want to go.
Pointless.
If I'm working in the print shop all year round, I want to go to a show that's going to tell me what's new, what's the next available. Is it a new screen cleaning chemical? Is it a new machine that puts shirts on and takes them off for you and makes you tea? What is the next new thing? If it's just another machine that goes around at 1,200 pieces an hour, I don't need to take a day off work for that.
No, well, if it were full of machines, I'd love to go, just because I've only ever really seen one auto in the flesh, and I'd walk around just to look at. I've only ever seen one auto in the flesh.
I need to take you around some places.
That's what I mean. And then that blew my mind. Honestly, I was like,
"What did you see?"
It was at Magna.
This at Magna?
Magna. It was the first time I'd ever seen
my
one.
kids.
It was. I'd have lapped it up. I'd have loved it. I'd have had it. Oh God, it blew my mind. I was just
you need to come round Leicester with me. I've got some places we can go.
Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll take Chippy Tea on tour just as an excuse.
We'll take Chippy Tea on tour. I think we should do, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. We definitely should. I think, I'd definitely go to Printwear Promotions to look at machines. Just to sit and have a look and just be in awe.
Now. So now we're left with Vespa. So Vespa's good for that. And there's one in Berlin next.
Vespa's not Britain, not here, is it? Well, that's...
It'll be in Germany. Well, it's European. Federation of European Screen Printing something or other.
No,
so I did the last one.
Like Justice League, but for printers.
Exactly that, yeah. And I'll be there again in May in Berlin or Munich, in Germany somewhere. I think it's Berlin. And there you'll be able to walk from a Taz to a M&R to an MHM to everything else, and ITMA as well, which will be in Milan, I think, this year. Those are worth it.
Yeah.
That's where I first realised that there's lots and lots more equipment. I went to look at screen cleaning equipment. We were looking at an automatic reclaim unit. I'll tell you exactly how long ago it is. 2012.
2012?
2010.
Bloody hell.
Because it was the year I stopped smoking. So I know,
right.
I know exactly when it was. And flew to Stuttgart to see TV Textile Show. It was so cold, it wasn't worth going outside for a smoke. I can remember being stood outside with a roll-up cig going on, and looking at it, and it was so cold it just went out. It just its life just went.
Fuck it.
And I looked at it and I was like, what am I doing? Freezing my nips off outside at like -11 walking through Stuttgart. Separate story. But that was... we went to see like a dishwasher type screen washer. So you put your you put your screens in, shut the door, and it did a cycle, and then you pulled them back out again. That's going back ages, but it was the only place you could get to see it because nobody else in England would have it, and if anybody did have it in England, they'd keep it a secret. So that worked really well, and I would definitely recommend going to see one of those. Vespa is a good one.
Yeah.
And it's like a 3-day show, so you can jump on a plane first thing in the morning for like 30 quid. I think I flew to Brussels for 16 quid. Oh,
well, there's a ferry at Hull that's like, so it's only 40 quid there and back. It's dead cheap.
It takes some time though, doesn't it?
Well, you get pissed on it, don't you? So it don't really matter. I think that's why people do it. It's like a bit of a piss up to Amsterdam, come back with some mushrooms in your pocket.
So I would absolutely definitely recommend going and having a look, even if you're not thinking about buying them. It gives you a chance.
Yeah, well,
I was working away in California one day, and I'm on a press trying to show people exactly what to do, and this boy's come, "Hey up, Tony, how's I doing?" Chuff! This is just a printer from Yorkshire just turned up. I'm like, "What are you doing here?" Come see what's going on, aren't we? Really? You've jumped on a plane to California to see what's going on? Yeah, well, why not? So, yeah, you do still get lots of people jumping on planes and going and seeing what's going on.
You get a lot of people go to big ones.
I'd recommend it.
I don't think I'm allowed in Florida, but other than that, I'd maybe have to go to Germany or something.
The Germany ones, the European ones are good. The English one is run by Printwear and Promotion, and it's a good magazine, and it's put on every year, and it's the main one in the UK. But it's become a bit of a fashion show for me.
They all knock on my door anyway, so
a lot of people want to go see, what new fashions are out.
Well, people are into that. I mean, at the end of the day, we sell T-shirts, don't we? So you should probably have at least a little bit of an eye in on what's hot and what's not.
100%, yeah. But it's just
I'm not a fashion guy. Yeah.
And I think it's always at January. It's always at the same time as Long Beach. And for the last 4 years, I've been doing the Long Beach.
Oh, you'd always choose. Yeah, definitely.
I choice. I work it. It's not going there. It's actually working. So
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
I
Well.
rather work in California or Birmingham? It's close.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I hear there's a few people going and having a bit of a get together.
Printwear, yeah. This one.
Yeah. I haven't been invited, but, you know, I hear rumours. But anyway.
That's because you don't play well with others.
I don't. I'm not sociable.
They're in the auto club, mate, that's why.
Yeah.
Or they will be by then.
Yeah, probably. A lot of people pick up auto. Well, I hear it's a bit of a thing to pick up. Well, maybe it used to be a bit of a thing to pick up autos at trade shows because they don't really want to take them back with them. Do you know what I mean? If they can ship them from the show floor to the customer, I guess it worked out a little bit cheaper. You got good deals or something. I don't know.
I think we're going back to mid-90s there. Yeah, if you've paid for it to be uncrated, built up, then yeah, you'll do a show special deal. And a lot of people went for show special deals. But that sort of way of doing business is you know,
sort of died down a bit.
We've moved on a little bit now. You know, you're able to pick from a catalogue.
Yeah.
And just say, right, I want this configuration. I want it here, here, and here. When can I have it for? So yeah, it's different. And you won't find it in this one.
No. Oh well, we'll work on it. At some point next year, I'll give it some serious thought and see where we end up or what we end up with. Hopefully, it's great. Hopefully, it's white and blue. And begins with M and ends in H.
We'll have to start the Chippy Tea Academy, won't we?
Yeah, well, can I be your guinea pig? That'd be good.
Absolutely.
Let me be your guinea pig. I want to come. And then I'll do the old social media promotion shit, tell everybody how amazing it is.
Yeah.
Unless it's shit, and then I'll criticise it, because, like I said, nobody's above criticism.
Or below praise.
Yeah. Whichever way around it is, one of them. I get confused with me on saying.
Yeah, I think we're on a deal there. Chippy Tea Academy.
Right,
might have to change its name. I don't think Chippy Tea's. Yeah, that'd be all right. Chippy Tea Academy. CTA.
CTA. Yeah. Palm Academy. Palm Print Academy. I don't know. I'm sure you'll work it out, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you're not you're in country till January. Then you're off to France.
I'm off to France on early January. Yeah, early January. Right. I think we discovered this one, didn't we? Got to brush up on my GCSE French.
That's going to be a laugh, isn't it? Apparently, though, internationally, English isn't like the most common language.
Everywhere but France.
One of them. Everywhere but France.
The French don't.
French won't learn it out of spite.
I love the fact if I ring up Austria or if I ring up Germany or Holland, and they answer the phone in their own language, and then I will say, "Oh, hello, good morning," and they'll slip into English straight away like that.
Crackers, isn't it? That?
Can you imagine you answering the phone and saying, "Hey, up, it's flipping to here, see this?" And somebody speaking French to you, bonjour. You'd be like, "No, don't know." They'll have to ring back later. So yeah, there's definitely an English as a standard, but I don't think France fits in that mould.
No, I don't know.
I'll tell you in about 3 weeks' time.
See how we get on. It might be one of those where you come back and go, couldn't help them. No. Not that they won't listen, we just couldn't understand us.
Yeah. And then I get that in America anyway. And where else have I got? I've got another one. You remember I have this plan, this scenario that plays out where the supplier becomes the buyer becomes the supplier.
Yeah,
I've got another one of them that I'm going to go see in the middle of January. Exactly the same sort of thing. The supplier. So
they're going to have 2 employees, 79 presses, and they're going to get you to teach those 2 employees, and then it's going to get watered down to the 700 employees when we all turn up 6 weeks after you've taught them.
Basically, yeah.
and then next year you'll have to go back and teach all them. It's quite a good business plan really for you, because you'll get to go twice really.
Yeah, basically.
In theory. no international travel. You're just going to chill out, do some working on your plans for the new year. You're going to do yourself a little manifest board with little pictures that you've sticked onto a bit of cardboard.
You know me quite well. Do you think I'm the type of person that has a manifest board?
I'm going to do one. I said that about 27 episodes ago that I was going to do a manifest board. I'm going to show it on next episode. I might do it for New Year's episode because maybe I'll have actually done it by then. But we'll see. Which one's this? We've not seen this one, then, have we?
Murphy.
Oh, Murphy, that was it. Yeah. Look at him. He was wasn't he a bit smaller last time we saw him?
He was a lot smaller last time. Yeah.
Look at the size of that bugger. Look at him.
Crazy.
Oh dear. So I've got a question for you. Have you been approached by Images magazine to pretend you've got a shop dog yet?
Yes.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. I'm writing it now.
Oh, right, well.
Not to pretend, because I have got a shop dog.
Well, you've got a dog that lives at home. You haven't got a shop, so it's a little bit bending the rules a little bit there.
A little bit, yeah. But Jack's now famous after you exposed him for shagging his teddy live on this multi-million podcast that we do. So
I would argue your shop dog in that case is by far the most famous, technically.
Probably, yeah.
He has been viewed by at least 32 people.
Collectively.
Collectively, yeah.
I'm gonna wrap up now and go do some training because
bit of running.
Yeah. So,
are you allowed to explain the whole story because it's interesting?
100% now. So, a little bit of a
backstory. To keep us quiet for a while, haven't we?
Well, yeah, a little bit. A little bit of a backstory is that we touched on it earlier. I used to be a smoker, so I used to smoke religiously. I was very good at it. It's about the only thing I was really good at. And in 12 years ago, I stopped and started to look for something to do to keep me fit that didn't cost me any money because I'm from Yorkshire and I don't like spending money. So I started to run. Never run before at all, ever. Not even run a bath. I just no point at all. I just didn't see the value in it whatsoever. And I started to run on a morning. I started to run on an evening. I started to run weekends. Really, really got the bug for running. Didn't look great, but in my head it was awesome. I would do 3 miles in the morning, 3 miles in the night.
Get now.
10, 15 miles on a weekend. It just became really addictive,
This was when you quit smoking, so this was like, what did you say, like 10 years ago or something?
10 years ago, yeah. So I 2014, 2015, I was at my fittest and running for a laugh, just for fun.
It's crackers, that, isn't it?
Then started a running club, started to run in races, did a 5K, a 10K, half marathon, and eventually decided to run a marathon because it was on my list to do. So
did you do it? Did you finish it?
I ran 2.
Bloody hell, fire.
So I entered this marathon, which was a local marathon around Wakefield, totally unorganised. And I got the feeling that it was going to get cancelled. So I also entered the Yorkshire Marathon, which is around York, and thinking that, if one cancels, I'll do the other. As it turns out, neither one cancelled.
They both went ahead.
And I did both. So I ran 2 marathons, and I did that because I wanted to see how far it could push my body by running. Because I was never going to be more thorough. I'm never going to break any world records on speed, but distance. 26 miles. Can I run 26 miles, 40k?
I mean, if you do it on speed, you might break a record.
Yeah. So I did it, and I still remember now. The pain was horrendous. So I said to myself, "That's it. I've done it. I don't ever want to do it again. I've got no desire to do it again. It's done. It's off my bucket list. Finished." And then I got injured, and I stopped running, and then I found beer, and now I've put about 3 stone on that I don't need, and not run. And I was sat in a bar in America with some friends of mine. One of them's a runner, and we got talking about when I used to run. And I said, "Do you think you'll ever run again?" No, because the pain of running a marathon, it really hurts. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
So, well, the only thing I would do, really, is to see the extent of the distance you could run. So there's these things called ultra marathons.
Right.
And a 50-mile run. So I said,
50 mile.
So
what's a normal marathon? That's like, is it
26.
20 or something? So it's like double-ish.
So I said, if I were going to do anything as a final swan song, as a final sort of like, right, do this.
I really have achieved it now. Yeah.
It would be to run an ultra. Not 100 miles stupid or anything like that because I'm too old. But a 50-mile ultra. And
oh, no, not stupid. Only 50 mile. Fucking hell.
They basically, they laughed at me. They said, oh, you like beer too much and you're not going to do that and you're too old and you're too out of shape. And I got home thinking, no, I can do it. If I'm going to do it, I can't wait a couple of years because I will be too old. So I started to get into training again and get back into training. So, and then last week when I went over in America, we sat and we picked an ultra to do in South Dakota next August. Date is set, all done, and I will be running 50 miles in one day. As a final swan song to say, right, that's it, I'm done. Then I can have
one day or 1 day and a night.
1 day.
Like, do you have to finish it by end of the day?
Yeah, 1 day. It'll be about 10 hours. Between 10 and 12 hours.
I'm just like
running and moving.
Oh, I mean, you must have some sort of stop.
Oh yeah,
you must stop to have a piss or something.
You stop for food. You stop to eat. But yeah, it's
that must be worse. No, when you stop, because then that's when it starts seizing up.
You've got to start again. Yeah, I don't know. I've never done one. I'll tell you in sort of September time.
I think you'll do it. I think there's nothing better to motivate you than somebody telling you can't do something.
You have to have a goal.
That's like one of the best things.
Yeah, I've got my goal now. So my goal is basically this year is all about training. So I've got a specified training plan. I'm making time for it, and by the end of August, I will have run 50 mile in one go.
Fucking hell. Somebody said about me, it was my ex's dad, said to her, I wasn't there, but sort of said it to her, said, Danny will either be really, really, really successful or he'll fucking kill himself trying. And I am utterly determined to fucking prove him that it'll be really successful and not the other one. So it's nothing like being told you can't do something that sort of motivates you,
It's a good motivation. It really is good.
It is. It definitely is. It is. Right, then. Let's wrap it up because
on that bombshell with my dog's going crazy in the background, which you can probably hear. We will wrap up this week's podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and all that other crap. And it has been fantastic with me, Tony P from Palm Print, and
Danny Donald for Flipper Sweet. Pricko. See you later.
We shall see.
Oh, actually, what about next week? Should we do a Christmas special? Are you going to put some tinsel on, you miserable bastard?
Yeah, Christmas jumpers definitely, and a Santa hat.
Right, Christmas jumper, Santa hat. Episode 26, which is quite annoying because it would have been nice if it had fallen
25
on 25.
Would have been nice. Yeah, but never mind. Yeah.
You can't have everything, can you?
No.
Right. See you next week then.
All right. See you then.
All best. Well, that was a bag of bollocks, but you never know.
It's Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want a Chippy Tea.